That was about as smooth as we could have hoped for with Gruul Werewolves. That was amazing. What's going on, guys? If you want to support our content and pick up this month's amazing Patreon rewards, you can do so at patreon.com/itresolves. If you're interested in custom playmats and sleeves, visit YourPlaymat.com and use code ITRESOLVES10YP for 10% off your entire purchase. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another standard gameplay video. I hope you guys are doing exceptionally well today. We have got Gruul Werewolves today. We haven't played Gruul Werewolves since the new Kamigawa release. I say new, it's been out for a little while now, but I thought I'd give it a shot here and just see kind of where we're at with it, see how it does in the meta. I have faced it a number of times, and so I do expect it to be somewhat relevant still. And I think there are some different configurations that we'll talk about as you go through this deck, but we'll start off and just kind of run through very quickly. In the 1-drop slot, we've got Frostbite and Blizzard Brawl, both of which are great removal options. Snakeskin Veil just to protect our own stuff, which definitely will come in handy. We do have a lot of really good 2-drops, so obviously the Naturalist, this produces mana for us and is a Lord on the flip side. Werewolf Pack Leader, gonna draw us some cards. Ranger class, gonna spit out a wolf and then hopefully bolster our board up later on. And then we've got a 1 of Outland Liberator. This is one of those things where I think you've got a little bit of flex room. You can include more of these depending on what you think you will be up against. I've only got 1 here, but I would suggest you could probably go up to 2, maybe even 3, depending on, again, what you're facing in the meta. Reckless Stormseeker, obviously an overly aggressive card, great for the deck. Primal Adversary, I think is an okay card. I've been a little underwhelmed with this one. I think solely because, you know, you've got so many other good plays in this list that I just think, like, Primal Adversary, while very, very good because it can give you extra creatures, is more of just like a, hey, we just need to win this turn kind of thing, and so you get this out. But I don't know. I've been a little underwhelmed. I've only got 2 of them in the list. Still want to try them out, but I'm just not sold. Tovolar is obviously phenomenal in these lists. Allows you to draw some cards as well. With that Reckless Pack Leader, you really get a lot of card draw in this, which is usually a downfall of these kinds of aggressive decks, and so it's great to see this here. I do have it as a 3-of, by the way, because it's a legendary. The Howlpack Piper, one of my all-time favorite werewolves. Obviously can't be countered, so if you find yourself up against a counter-heavy deck, it really isn't that big of a deal, but it also helps you get more creature cards, and again, kind of solves the problem for you of how do I get more stuff once I've dumped my hand onto the field. This really does it all for you. Arlinn, a full 4 Arlinn, because we do kind of expect her to die fairly quickly. A lot of times you come down, you -3 immediately, and then generally they can just attack it back with like an Eye Witch or whatever. But a really, really powerful Planeswalker, of course, for the deck, and just does so much for us. And then finally, I have a 1 of Caretaker here. I just think this card is really bonkers if you can get it down, especially on the flip side where everything else has hexproof. I mean, that's just insane. So I did want to include that as a 1 of here. You can, like I said, play around a lot with the numbers. I think there's some really important key pieces that you definitely want to have in this list, but how many you have of each one is really up to you. And I think that's kind of the fun of werewolves, is each werewolf deck can be just slightly tweaked a little bit differently, and that's okay. Obviously running a lot of snowlands, we do have that Blizzard Brawl, so that's important, but overall that's a pretty straightforward Gruul Werewolves list, guys. We're gonna have some fun with this one. Let's jump right in. Let's see how we do. I'd like to get as many games in as we can. I'm hoping these go somewhat quickly, because obviously the last video we only got 2 games in, so let's try and avoid that this time. Let's jump into game 1 right now. All right, guys, here we are for game number 1. This is an interesting hand. I don't really love it, I'll be honest. It feels a bit slow to me. I think we have to send this back. I'm trying to think. We've got a lot of turn 2 plays, so I am going to send this back and hope for a little bit better. This is definitely better. And I think, again, we actually send that Adversary back. The Stormseeker is a more aggressive card right off the bat. And so I just think that that's definitely the way to go. We'll definitely lead on the snow-covered forest here. We got to get that pack leader down turn 2 and then get that Stormseeker in. This is about the perfect 2 into 3 that we could have here. So I'm curious to see how this goes. They have a Rockfall Veil. Could be a mirror match here. Very interested to see how this goes. And hopefully we can get the win. Okay. All right, so pretty straightforward. We Stormseeker. Go ahead and give it haste and attack in. This is going to draw us a card as well. Fourth land is phenomenal. That's going to allow us the Arlinn, which is really, really good. And it gets us closer to the Caretaker, which is definitely something we want to get down here. Interesting. Okay. Fascinating. All right. Very, very cool. So, let's see. So we can actually do some shenanigans here if we'd like to. And what I mean by that is we can actually just pack leader. Nah, okay, that doesn't work. Well, it does actually. It's not as mana efficient. And I think I'd rather get the Arlinn down. I think this is the smart play. The Werewolf pack leader is the like overly greedy play, I think. But it is kind of cool. It would allow us to draw 2 extra cards here, which is really, really nice. But I think this is the smarter play because now we're hitting on the Planeswalker axis as well as the creature. And so if they want to be able to deal with us, they have to sweep this turn and somehow deal with Arlinn, which I don't think they'll be able to do. Cool. Okay. So we definitely plus up Arlinn. There's no reason not to do that. And I think we just kind of go for the crazy plays here. I do understand we're probably going to lose some stuff in this transaction, but kind of don't care. What do we want here? I think we do this. And we just attack in with everything. So we're going to draw a bunch of cards. We're going to get an extra mana source. Not that it really matters. And I am getting red here, but yeah, it looks like they're just going to take it. And look at that, guys. We did it. We got the win. That was about as smooth as we could have hoped for with Gruul Werewolves. That was amazing. Let's jump into a game 2. All right, guys, here we are for game number 2. Do we keep this? I think based on the Frostbite, we can try it. Not super optimistic because we're a little bit slow. We're waiting until basically turn 3 to really do anything. But I do think, you know, if they happen to be a creature deck, we can go ahead and get something out of the way. And then we've got the Stormseeker plus Tovolar. And Tovolar in itself is quite good. So we'll just go ahead and lead on that. Evolving Wilds is an interesting one. So that does make me think, obviously a multicolor deck, I would assume, but also potentially a landfall deck. Generally, you don't see Evolving Wilds unless you really need like a lot of different colors of mana, or you are just trying to get landfall triggers, but it could just be a Naturalist deck. So the question is, do we Frostbite the land? I'm gonna say yes. This hits them for a mana source, which they're already down on resources, so I feel like that might be okay. Let's go ahead and do this. Again, if we draw a Werewolf pack leader, we'd like to be able to play it. And so having double green by turn 3 is certainly a good idea. But more importantly, I think we've got other plays that we'll probably end up making here. Another Emergent Sequence. Interesting deck choice here. I mean, Emergent Sequence is kind of a cool card, I'm not going to lie. But I'm very curious as to what exactly this is. Okay, so again, just gonna throw that out. We'll get the Reckless Stormseeker down. Double Reckless Stormseeker is really not that bad. Obviously it targets itself and we just get in for a free attack here for 3. Gonna start that damage process. This also sets up the Tovolar play next turn pretty well, which is great. So let's go ahead and get that attack in. And we'll see what happens. Again, very curious to see what the opponent's actually doing here. They had double Emergent Sequence in hand and multiple Evolving Wilds, but it does look to be like just green-white. I'm not sure. I don't think this is the like enchantments, you know, Naturalist deck. I feel like they don't run the Emergent Sequence or Evolving Wilds. Okay, so it is green-white, I'm assuming. I don't see why they wouldn't have gotten a different color source if they had needed it. So I'm assuming it's just green. This is confusing. Guys, I hope everybody's doing well, by the way. I do appreciate, by the way, yeah, okay, so it is a landfall deck. Yes, we have had some important family stuff going on. I mentioned that in the previous or a couple of episodes ago, I believe. And I do appreciate everybody being so supportive of that. I know it's not exactly ideal, but I'm doing the best I can to make sure that it doesn't affect the channel, at least not too bad. So I really do appreciate everybody being so generous and kind about all that. It's been not a struggle by any means, but it has been quite a bit of time that I've had to invest in that. And I mean, it's family stuff, so you always do that, and I'm glad that we can, but it is something that does kind of take time away from the channel. And I did release something on Patreon as well, just mentioning that, because obviously if you're a patron, you're supporting us monetarily, and so you certainly deserve to know more so than anybody else what's going on here. And so I wanted to make sure that we got all that information out to you guys. Okay, yeah. So this is just basic landfall, which is really good. I mean, we're seeing how good it can be. Yep, resolve all. So they are gonna buff up here. Interesting. Part of me just wants to Snakeskin Veil for the counter. Nah, I think we just wait. All right, I'm gonna pass. Sure. All right, what can we do? So I think what we need to do, we want to tap like this. So if we get, actually, can I, yeah, okay. So we want to tap like this, play Stormseeker, I think. So this leaves up Snakeskin Veil, and then if we draw a Frostbite, which I think is relevant. So we want to go here, and we want to go here. So everything is a threat. I am just going to let them jump block however they decide, because we can just Snakeskin Veil. Interesting. Okay, and they are going to decide to do that. That's fine. Let's go ahead and Snakeskin Veil on this just to protect it. This is an important card. We do want to keep it. There's another Tovolar. Okay. I was hoping to get a Frostbite, because then we could have dealt with something here. These Scoot Swarms are obviously going to get out of hand. And they do have a land. That's not good for us. All right. Let's see what they decide to do, because it could be that they just counter up. Yeah, that makes sense. So we'll probably end up losing out, because the reality of this deck is that we're the aggressive deck as well. And the problem that we're facing now is just that they have more breadth than we do, and so they're able to essentially just block until they don't need to anymore. Good attacks. All right. Now there is the Frostbite. That's interesting. Okay. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and play this. Get a Werewolf pack leader. So we can do this just to give something trample. That's worth noting. But the reality is, I think we're just gonna die here. I don't think there's much we can do. And we probably should have waited on the land as well. That was probably a mistake. So let's see, we attack in, they just kill us. The alternative is we just don't do anything. This does give trample until the end of the turn though, which is really nice. Okay. Yeah. We'll see what happens here. If they brick on the land, that's really good for us. Again, we do have Frostbite up here. While it doesn't kill the Crawling Barons, it does kill something. And so if they decide to attack in, so we can block 3 things, kill 1. They've got, okay. I was gonna say, they were just putting a counter on that, I imagine. Which is fine. Basically what we're trying to set up is a Tovolar play where we just give something trample. What do we kill here? I think we definitely need to kill something. I think it's honestly just the land. It's not great regardless, but I think we have to kill something. So we do this. Can play the pack leader. I'm trying to be very thoughtful in the way that we're doing things here. So we can give this trample. They get to leave up one Scoot Swarm. Potentially more. So we do this. We give that +2 and trample. I'm going to attack in with everything. This draws us a card. Primal Adversary. Okay. And let's see how this actually goes. They obviously have to block a good bit, but we're leaving up the Tovolar play for 3. And so they have to be pretty conscious of how they decide to block here. The Werewolf pack leader already has trample. This is basically an all or nothing play, right? Like if they can get through this attack, we probably just die. Which is like fine, that's not the end of the world. Are they gonna block with all of their Scoot Swarm tokens? Wow. I mean, I'm super okay with this. Well, no, we're not okay with this because... yeah, that doesn't really matter. Okay, so they can only do... yeah, so we have to kill something here. Let's do this. I'm gonna do 2. Again, leaving up Frostbite as an option for us. But that kills 2 of the bigger Scoot Swarms. We also draw 2 cards, so if we do draw... okay, we didn't. Alright, but... oh, so we're just dead this turn because they have the Crawling Barrens. Dang. You know, if we had drawn Frostbite, nah, it still wouldn't have been enough because they could just activate this and throw 2 counters on it. You know, I think that was a fairly decent effort still. We maybe could have attacked smarter, but I think we really kind of forced them into this, and I think without drawing removal, we were just into a bad place anyway, so I'm kind of okay with it. It is what it is. We had to pump it up once, so we could have left open another mana, which would have given us the Naturalist play, which would have been able to block. So we could have lived for another turn. It's a little unfortunate, but I'm going to go ahead and concede here. They just have it. Well done, opponent. We could have played just a little bit better had we only put 1 mana into that, but hey, it's cool. Let's jump into a game 3 real quick. All right, guys, here we are for game number 3. This is a bit of an interesting hand, but I do think we can keep it. We've got the Highland Forest. If we draw basically any land, we're in great shape. Triple Arlinn is pretty terrible. But, I mean, we've got the Naturalist to help us out here. We can do something here. I do really like that. I think we go double green, though, for the obvious... so what do we go for? Let's actually go for the Naturalist. This gives us a potential extra mana. And so I think this sets us up better than the Ranger class, despite the Ranger class just in general being, I think, a better card. Clever Lumamancer, huh? That's fascinating. Okay. So we attack first. Let's see what they want to do. Looks like nothing. I'm gonna use the red to Frostbite here. Just get rid of that. Cool. And then I'm gonna go ahead and Ranger class. That's not a card I want on the field very long, if we can help it. And so I'm all for just going ahead and getting that out of there. Okay. Again, I think the play is pretty straightforward. We go for the red. The question is, do we burn it again? Kind of think yes. It's a little rude, I know, but like they're not blocking with it, so I'm cool. And then we'll go ahead and do this. We should have done that first, I suppose, but it doesn't really matter. All right. I mean, We still need land. I mean, we don't have land at all, which is really bad, but let's attack in. The plays are pretty straightforward here. I'm going to put it on the wolf token, weirdly. Maybe that's a bad play. If they have a Fading Hope, that's a very bad play. Oh, well. Gotta do what we gotta do. Let's hit him for a crap load. I think we just play Stormseeker because this allows us for next turn, if we happen to get another creature that we can play, then we can just get in for the win, basically. We can already win based on what we have, but it just gives us better options. The Lord of the Overlord, man, doing some work this game. So they really don't have a safe attack here. That's kind of the nice thing about this, is we should be able to just take the win regardless. Wow, they're gonna attack. That's, I mean, okay. So they've got 2 mana available. They're gonna Show of Confidence on it. This is a cool little combo. If you don't know how that works, basically the Show of Confidence creates another treasure token. They can Show of Confidence again, and it just creates more and more. So this is a really cool little sequence of plays here. The question is, can they get to 20? I mean, it's pretty good. It kind of all comes down to this last card, I believe. If it's another Show of Confidence, I don't know that that actually does it, though. Wow. I haven't mathed this, so I have no idea what's going to happen. 13, 14, 15, but that's it. That was a very, very good turn by the opponent. I'm super into that, but we won anyway. Awesome, guys. We got 3 games in. Some very, very good games. Did we go undefeated? No, we lost against Scoot Swarm. All right, let's talk about this deck. All right, guys, so Gruul Werewolves still kind of doing its thing. I gotta be honest, I'm pretty impressed, especially in that last game where we were running off of basically 2 mana and then a Naturalist. I mean, we were able to get the win. I do think, obviously, against the decks that are going wide, you're going to have issues. Against sweepers, you're going to have issues. What I will say, though, is that because of the general power level of the Werewolves, you can outpace things like Meat Hook Massacre some of the time. Not going to say all the time, but you do really bolster up your board pretty quickly with some powerful creatures. They just have strong power and toughness already. But then you also have things like Ranger class, which throw counters out and things like that. If you get them transformed, they get a buff usually. And so in general, I think this does a fairly good job of handling the meta. It's not perfect, but I do think it's a very good aggressive deck. Kind of mid-range aggressive in some ways because it is trying to get to like turn 3 or 4. Which I guess for standard is pretty aggro-y, but regardless, I love it. It still plays great, guys. I'll be honest, this has like no new Kamigawa cards in it, and it's still a really good deck. Gruul Werewolves, absolutely love it. Guys, thank you so much for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I do appreciate, again, all the support and understanding. I've been trying really hard not to let it affect the channel, but in case we miss a day or something like that, we've done a really good job of not since the start of the year, but I'm trying very hard to avoid that. So thank you guys so much. And again, I'll see you hopefully very soon for some more gameplay video. Don't forget, Saturday, we've got a collection update. You do not want to miss this one. It's going to be a really good one. And I have a challenge for all of you in that video. So please do check that out. But guys, thank you so much. I love you. I'll see you again very soon.